All right, so we got the race between these two guys, and commentating is going to be myself, Staveras, and Overfiend alongside here with me.
Good
So
morning,
I
y'all.
think we're ready to go. So I'm going to count Jero and Leodox off, and then we'll be off through the races. It looks like they're both ready, so I'm going to count from 5 to go, and starting your game on go. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck to the runners.
Good luck. Have fun. So, for anyone unfamiliar with this category, it's basically defined as beating the game while utilizing the Golden Trizo code, or GT code for short, and no other major glitches are allowed. It's sort of like a faster 90%. Runs are about 8 minutes shorter on average than 80% because of what the GT code does for the player. It's performed by holding all the face buttons, meaning A, B, X, and Y, while transitioning in the Golden Trizo's room. The game checks for those inputs on a frame about halfway through the transition, and if successful, the player will be granted 7 energy tanks, 3 reserve tanks, 100 missiles, 20 supers, 20 power bombs, and every major item in the game except for Screw Attack, which is right next to Golden Trizo's chamber anyway. There's a few quirks involved with the code, like even though it provides 7 energy tanks, it provides an energy amount of 700 and not 799. If GT is considered deceased, the code won't work. Even though the code does provide the player with grappled X-ray, they won't appear on the player's HUD even if they are highlighted or activated. And finally, because it gifts the player with every major item, including all the beams, they will all be enabled when the player enters the chamber, so players have to not accidentally fire the beam before pausing to disable Spazer, or else it'll cause the game to crash.
Yeah, usually the runners will develop a pretty good cue as to when to stop holding the buttons. For myself, what I usually do is I start holding all the buttons as soon as the door transition even begins, and then I let go of them as soon as I see the door frame stop moving, and that's usually what I end up doing to prevent accidentally firing and crashing the game.
Yeah, same here. Like, it happens halfway through, so you know, but when the screen stops scrolling, that you're completely safe to
Right. I think one of the reasons I enjoy GT Classic so much myself is once you actually get past the nuance part of doing the lava dive, doing the green gate glitch, and actually executing GT code, at that point, the game pretty much becomes a boss rush.
Yeah, it's focused just almost completely on just movement and executing the bosses. There's very little concern left for just your run completely being stopped by anything, especially death. Death is extremely unlikely after that point, thankfully.
Unfortunately, it's actually decently likely up until then.
Yeah, definitely.
The lava dive can end up getting you killed because this mistake could end up costing you a lot of energy and end up ending the run. Then there's the green gate glitch, which basically requires you jump towards the super gate in a certain way that the super actually starts on the other side of the gate and opens the gate from the other side. That doesn't so much kill you, but running out of supers means that there's nowhere to farm any more of them, so you'd have to find some way in Lower Norfair to get supers, and there's not really any way of doing that without dying.
Mm-hmm. You can't really farm the gold pirates in Pre-Pillar's room, for example. It's just not realistic at all.
So, answering a couple of questions I saw go through chat, GT Classic is the category name for that we kind of picked over time I don't know who coined the phrase first. Just to clarify, GT, I don't remember if you said it over Fiend or not, but GT is short for Golden Chorizo, meaning just the code that you do in that room. GT Classic, though, has, well, classically referred to as basically executing the code and doing a full boss clear shortly after.
Right. I actually sort of, I guess you could say, joined the speedrunning side of the Super Metroid community uh, after it was whatever it was renamed to GT Classic, if it even was renamed. But I basically joined when it was already called GT Classic, so I'm personally not sure where the name came from specifically. But
Yeah, I'm
there's
in the same boat.
there's GT Classic and then there's GT Code, which is like GT Code, all everything goes, so to speak. It's kind of obsoleted by any percent glitch now. It was the fastest method in the past until it was discovered that X-Ray sort of does everything you want it to.
When
But,
X-Ray became the most powerful item in the game.
yeah. Uh, so, like on the wiki, I made basically a full text tutorial and video examples and such. So, if you want more in-depth information on this category, even how to play it to an extent, I would check the page out on the wiki for this category, which has already been linked in chat. So there you go.
Yeah, if there's anything you need to know about Super Metroid, speedrunning, that wiki, that's pretty much your best bet for finding that information.
Yeah, it doesn't have everything, but with a game like Super Metroid, it's kind of always a constant work in progress. The wiki, whether it be just updating record times or something new gets found, it's like a ton of information this game has to learn about.
It's also saw another question that Mock Jumps had thrown out, asking if they were doing the high jump part. And I do believe both runners will be doing picking up high jump. If you want to explain the difference between picking up or not picking up overfeed.
Sure. Well, there's a couple differences the players can have when they go through the route. I would say the two main ones are choices of energy tanks and choices of picking up high jump or not. Uh, it's basically skipping high jump saves up to 20 seconds. If I recall correctly, but it makes the lava dive a bit more difficult. I know I've seen Leodox practice it in the past, but I'm not expecting either one to go for it just because having high jump makes it a lot easier, and this is a marathon run, of course. So 20 seconds compared to outright survival is kind of, I think they'd weigh just surviving instead of the time gain from that.
So we see here a couple differences between Jro and Leo. Jro picking up charge beam, Leo just skipping right by it. Mostly due to Jro still operates with the charge quick kill method, while Leodox uses the 2 missiles, 3 supers method. So the runners still preferring to do their own different strats.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. One difference I'm interested in seeing is what energy tanks they choose, because obviously Terminator energy tank is sort of forced on you, but if they're opting to grab high jump, then they wouldn't actually need the high jump energy tank. They could choose to attempt lava dive with only one tank, and they'd be relatively safe. Obviously, if they missed a wall jump, say like up at the top of lava dive, they'd probably have to reset, which is another interesting thing. I'm curious where they'll choose to save, if anywhere, since the save for Lava Die would be at Bubble Mountain, and the save for Green Gate would be Lower Norfair Entrance. So I'm interested to see if the players choose to save at either of those spots. Depending on how safe they take it, they could opt to grab Kraid and high jump energy tanks to have a 2 or 3 energy tank lava dive with or without boots.
Right. Although I think with these runs, the wing, I'm usually more worried about Green Gate glitch than I am Lava Dive. Just because, for some stupid reason, Green Gate glitch just continues to be an inconsistent thing.
Yeah, I sort of just, after trying like 3 or 4 different methods, I just decided let's just pick this one because it looked the coolest and go with it. And that one being where you just sort of run and jump at the gate. And you actually had a good point about that on stream. I remember where you said you thought it was good because it limits it to just timing the input. I do sort of agree with that. Like if you get used to it, it's sort of just another trick that you just sort of get the feel for of when
Right.
to time the super. And I suppose that's true. At least the evidence is that for some reason in every attempt or PB I have, I get it like first or second try. Pretty fortunate.
Even in practicing, it's still though. I think I wish I could. I wish we could find a strat at least that would work universally for everyone. That you pretty much, at least like 90% of the time, would get Green Gate glitch. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone's devised a strat that's worked across the board for everyone. Both runners getting. Oh no,
Um,
Leo missing the quick kill.
I think it was one super off, I
Yeah,
believe.
that last super not getting in Kraid's mouth there.
Decently fast recovery. Kraid quick kill saves a minimum of 10 seconds, but it usually ends up saving uh, quite a bit more than that when you look at how people usually fight Kraid after missing the quick kill. They usually aren't experienced in fighting him the normal way, but that was
Yeah.
still not that bad a recovery.
I honestly don't think he could have done much better than especially considering that he doesn't have charge beam. Leodox doesn't. So his only option to damage Kraid at that point are missiles.
Right. Oh, it actually just registered my brain that Jro actually did grab charge. That's another thing is like, since this category is essentially just a rush to lower Norfair where you kill Kraid for Varia and then choose to grab high jump or not, and your energy tank choices. Charge is not a normal pick for the category, but it paid off in this case for Jro.
I've been trying to convince Jro of learning 2 missile 3 super method, and this probably isn't going to help me convince him. Leodox opting for the high jump E tank while Jro is going to skip it altogether.
Yeah, they're both in fact grabbing high jump, so I guess Leo taking the safe, I thought perhaps he would choose to skip it. Or, well, not necessarily choose to skip it, acknowledging the time loss from the Kraid quick kill, but just thought maybe he was more comfortable with no high jump lava dive. But yeah, he's got 2 tanks for safety, so we'll see if that plays a part in this at all.
Now, I believe Jro will end up saving here from what he told me. Let's see if he sticks with that or if he decides to go straight forward. Yeah, he's going to go save for the lava dive. And see if Leodox decides to do. Leodox may not decide to do the same, which he's pretty much going all in at that point. But he does have the extra E tank, so he might be feeling more confident and only save at the Lower Norfair elevator.
This is another choice people can have, although it's more of a choice in attempts. In a marathon run like this, you sort of expect every runner to take the refill station before Lower Norfair to not only refill in health or refill in supers. You want basically every chance you can get at hitting the green gate switch once you make it past the dive.
when people are trying record attempts or just even PB attempts at this category, we've gotten to the point where we just skip farming altogether, and we go into lower Norfair with only the couple of supers, and just hope that we get Green Gate glitch on the first or second try. In a marathon setting, it's definitely safer, wiser to pick up the supers so we have more attempts.
Jro with a good start. Leo also attempting. I think Jro's got it.
Yep, Jero with a good lava dive. You'll likely save now. Yep, because Green Gate glitch has its mind of its own. The Leodox's lava dive here.
Yeah, he actually did not fall into the pool after the transition, so he went for the backup dive.
Leodox risking it a little bit there with that wall jump right off the bat. Still getting the successful lava dive though. Normally when you get up to that top part, you do 2 wall jumps to wait for the Fume to spit that flame out. But he didn't wait at all, which is a slightly riskier strat, but he pulled it off no problem.
Yeah, you may have noticed there's a sort of a setup there where if you line yourself with the horizontal, I don't know if you'd call like a stalactite or what, but it gives you a good position for when you jump into the room and have Samsa's head hit the ceiling. You can just sort of hold down and then morph into the pool pretty cleanly that way.
Jero getting Green Gate on the second try, coming into GT. Leodox getting Green Gate, no problem either.
Those first and second tries.
Yeah. So we have a race, ladies and gentlemen. Jero pulling off GT code, no problem. Watch Leodox as he comes in. Leodox doing the same. So first part, the most tense part of the run is over with. From now, it's just a matter of a boss rush and seeing how fast these two can go.
Yeah, not sure what has been explained, what hasn't this far into the marathon, but you obviously see that GT is probably the easiest mini-boss in this game, given the items that the players have, and by standing right at the right spot in front of him, he'll jump backwards, and then by standing in front of his forward leg around the knee, the players will be completely safe from him and his attacks and can strike him with the beam. If you fire directly up through him while crouched, the beam can strike him twice, and it allows GT to be slain in only 8 charge shots.
So from here on out, it's the challenging part of this run is pretty much a lot of the same challenges you encounter with 100%, is that while you're not really worried about death, it's hard. You start encountering a lot of technical strats, and it's hard to really go fast in some places. So really what we're looking at here now is who can pull off the strats the best. In the meantime is what's going to make the race, more so than anyone dying or anything like that.
Yeah, since it's almost entirely about execution now, these little things such as Jro mistiming his power bomb can be quite significant with Leo right on his heels.
Yeah, these two are a room apart right now, so it's still very much anybody's race. And as an extra note, though, with the GT code, these players, even though it doesn't show up in their HUD, these players do have grapple beam and X-ray scope. So the icons aren't there, but they can still scroll through them just fine.
Yeah, one of those in particular will be especially relevant many times throughout this run.
Jero coming into Ridley. Leodox right behind him pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Ridley is 20 shots, as most of you are aware. They can choose to incorporate supers if they want. Usually people don't. It's more DPS than the beam, but it's risky to use them here since you might not receive them back before Torian from drops. Especially if you choose to skip drops from bosses. In Ridley's case, it's faster to exit the room as soon as the door unlocks from defeating him rather than wait on his drops, as it saves a couple of seconds. We'll see what the players choose to do, though.
Jero dispatching Ridley, no problem. Leodox has a couple more shots on him. Getting the early grab there. Going to Ridley to get grabbed rather than waiting for Ridley to come to him.
So they both grab drops. Seb kill, I think so. Testing Super Metroid on the 3DS and also Wii U VC is something I really wish I could do, but I don't have it on. I don't have either system, so. But it seems like it's nearly everything is the same in terms of stuff like that, like confirmed stuff in the game. So I think it would work on 3DS, but I'm not sure at all. It's mostly stuff like space-time beam effects and memory corrupting effects that it's a big question mark, I think.
Yeah, with Overfiend mentioning like one of the categories earlier when we were differentiating between GT Classic and GT Code. One of the old way for 80% GT Code was well, at least I say the old way because it used to be the fastest run, but now it's not. It was using a space-time beam, which is a specific combination of beams that causes the game's RAM to get overwritten randomly depending on a lot of different variables. The results of that tend to, not so much in what they do, but how stable it is, tend to differ between running it on the console and between Virtual Console, and probably 3DS, I imagine, would have the same effect. I'm not sure, because I have not looked at it myself either, but probably would have the same effect, if I had to guess, as it does on Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, both runners sort of keeping their respective paces, both like through Norfair, as they make their way through to Meridia.
Right.
Since players have space jump already, the Meridia movement's a little bit easier than normal. Entering Fish Tank, for instance, you don't really have to time your jump all that much. You can just sort of jump against the ceiling and then space jump once you enter.
Coming up here in just a second, we'll see Jero. Should be doing some pretty nice strat to quickly dispatch Botwin.
Yeah, so because the racers have all their major upgrades already, they can perform this trick involving X-Ray and Plasma on a few enemies, in particular Botchun, Dragon, and Fantoon, by firing a charge shot at their vulnerable point and then activating X-Ray over and over, as Zero just did cleanly. It causes the charge shot to strike multiple times, which it can be likened to the pause glitch in the original Mega Man game. The developers obviously did not intend for players to have both X-Ray and Plasma at this point, since Plasma is normally only able to be acquired after Dragon dies.
Oh, Jero just barely missing the full halfie there, bonking a little too high.
We'll see if Leo goes for it. It actually saves a slightly less time in this category because of space jump.
Oh, Leodox just... He had the spark, but he didn't execute. Or at least he tried to execute too late.
But you see, both players have space jump, so it's not...
Right.
That it's easy to recover from, basically.
Yeah, the consequences of missing full halfie are certainly less than compared to any percent. So here we're gonna say the same sort of X-ray glitch with Dragon. This is a lot harder to do. You have to be very careful with how you space your X-rays off. Jro getting it no problem. See if Leodox get the same thing with one round. And if the runners don't get it the first time around, I mean they just wait for Dragon to come around again. But obviously it's faster if you do it the first time.
Yeah, you'll see on Leodox's stream, Dragon gives 2 indications of when she dies to let you know when you can stop spamming X-ray, and that's she'll force Samus to stand up from the ground if she's crouching, and she'll also make this sort of quick electrical noise. So both of these things indicate her death to let you know you can stop with the X-ray. And both players opting to skip Dragon's drops, that's pretty standard. Saves about 2 or 3 seconds, I think.
Now it's going to be a rush to get the Phantoon. Phantoon could give Leodox some time to catch up, or it could give Jro more time to pull away. It just depends how the RNG falls. Well, for this category, he holds a little less sway, because if the runners do it correctly, then we're going to see a 1 round.
Yeah, he has some weight. For example, if Jro was given a slow opening and Leo was given a fast opening, it would almost completely, I guess not almost completely at this point, but it would probably cut the gap between them in half, just that alone, but we'll see if that happens. You may be noticing that they're going in a direction from the front instead of the back. I believe it's at least a few seconds faster to go that way. It's also faster for the players to space jump over both the moat and the ocean rather than attempt Oceanfly. Sorry to say, perhaps.
Well, Jro still had X-ray selected there somehow.
I think he hit item select twice after power bombs instead of cancel.
It's one of the annoying things to speedrunners about picking up X-ray, especially if you've ever done item randomizers and you've just picked up X-ray because it was there. It just starts annoying you because if you don't use item cancel but you use item select to scroll through all your items until they're deselected, if you're trying to run while you scroll past X-ray, X-ray just activates and stops you in your tracks and kills any momentum that you once had. It becomes very annoying.
Right, automatically. So, again on Phantoon, the trick involving X-ray and Plasma works here, like we alluded to earlier. One detail worth noting is that if you hit Phantoon with a charge shot immediately, Phantoon will close immediately, so to prevent that, Phantoon has to be struck by something other than the beam first, so that he'll fly around the room. So players will try hitting Phantoon with a missile before using the beam.
Jro successfully getting a mid pattern and getting 1 round for Phantoon. Pretty, can't ask for that to go much better, apart from the fast pattern.
Speaking of which,
getting the fast pattern and successfully doing the same. So Leodox will gain a little bit of time on Jro that way.
Congrats to both on their 1 rounds.
If there's anything that's satisfying in this game, I have to say it's 1 rounding Phantoon.
Maybe not in the way that most of us wish we could in a run, but you are definitely right.
I'll take 1 rounds however I can get them. Although it would be great to eventually see somebody pull off in a run a 1 round Doppler.
So again, it's slightly faster to space jump over the moat, mainly because, or the ocean, mainly because you can do the strat where if you enter the moat room after opening the door as a speedball, you can actually spring over the moat with speed. It's a really cool trick, but unfortunately, Leo hitting the door and Jro missing the morph ball.
Yeah, bonking on that door is not really that hard to do coming out of that conveyor belt room. You need to make sure you fire and jump at the right time, otherwise you stand a good chance of running into the door and just killing all of your movement.
So Torian in this category, it's basically just like 100%. Racers shouldn't have to worry about energy or ammo in this area either. And depending on what the racers plan on doing, they may disable items such as Varia or Screw Attack as they enter to keep them on. Mainly depends on what kind of Zebutite or stand-up glitch they're comfortable doing, but whether or not they go for Metroid skip can also have a bearing on this decision. I think all of them plan to go for it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will definitely be going for it. I'm interested in seeing how technical the Metroid rooms are going to be, because with all the items in the game, you can really clear the Metroid rooms pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we have Jro pausing on the elevator to turn off Varia and Screw.
Is doing that so he's taking off Screw Attack so he can use the Zebutite clip, because if you have to spin jump, the Zebutite clip relies on your invulnerability frames, but every time you spin jump, Screw Attack will reset your invulnerability frames, so he wants to remove that to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I didn't see Leo pause though, at least on the elevator, so he might be opting for either one of those variations of the ice zeb skip or maybe even speed zeb skip. I'll have to see.
Yeah.
I doubt speed zeb skip despite its coolness factor, but you never know.
For some reason, I can't stand the speed zeb skip. I do not like that short charge. Probably mostly because I've never practiced it to a great extent.
So Jro left the Metroid rooms with full ammo and health. Leodox possibly... Oh, quite a bit of supers from that last room, so...
So, yeah,
they actually both have great amounts for Mother Brain 1 and the doors.
So, we could see a lead change here based on how Baby Skip goes.
Just one more jump. Should have it.
Jro getting the successful Baby Skip to see if Leodox pulls it off too. Leodox also getting the baby skip. Both of these runners getting the Metroid skip. Props to them.
Definitely.
Seeing two Metroid skips side by side like that is just a beautiful thing. Now we see Leodox taking off Screw Attack and Varia.
Having a little trouble?
Yeah, Leodox, Zeb Skip's being a little stubborn. Not like this.
If you happen to mess it up and the Rinka leaves for the first time, or the Rinka is destroyed, it should consistently respawn immediately, but after that you probably have to wait on it to respawn, in which case it can be better to just reload the room and try again that way.
See Jro doing stand up here.
Yeah, in this category... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
In this category, you're given just enough health from the GT code items to perform stand-up. It's a 700 energy minimum. Energy tank energy, reserve tank energy, unfortunately does not count, but yeah, 700 minimum.
And that's one of the reasons they take off the various suit too, because if you don't watch a lot of Super Metroid and see categories like this in 100%, the difference between having various suit on and off at this point all comes down to how much damage Mother Brain's Hyper Beam will deal to you. If you have various suit on, which a casual runner would still have various suit on at this point, it would do 300 damage. But if you take it off for some reason, various suit only does, or Hyper Beam does 600 damage with the various suit off. And so for the ease of speeding up stand-up glitch, they take various suit off.
Yeah, I believe it's slightly faster because when Rainbow hits you, when you're at the amount for stand-up, it deals half, so it drops you to like 400 and some change potentially, depending on the specifics. You basically have to get up off the ground as fast as you can and ram yourself in a Mother Brain as fast as you can, because if you're too slow in lowering your health, she'll think she has to rainbow you again, and that can be disastrous.
Jro transitioning into Mother Brain 3. Technically, Leodox already in Mother Brain 3. The damage he's doing to Mother Brain, this is part of what how stand-up works. The damage that Leodox is applying right now applies towards the Mother Brain 3 phase. Even though, getting a little scary there with the Metroid. It is possible to get the Metroid stuck, and if Mother Brain can't hit the Metroid, that will cause a soft lock.
Yeah, fun fact, even though if you had spare power bombs, you actually could blow up the Metroid that way, it won't actually count as if Mother Brain killed it. She'll just keep trying to fire rings.
I didn't know you could do that, man.
Yeah, it's pretty amusing that you can do that, but yeah, so like when you hit full HP from the Super Metroid giving you your energy back, it detaches and may try to continually detach from you during the remaining part of stand-up. So you have to be careful of where it detaches. It can definitely detach in a spot where Mother Brain simply cannot hit it anymore. Soft locking.
What? Oh my gosh, Jro, don't do that.
I think he realizes how ahead he is.
He's teasing us, man. He's teasing us. Oh. Jro with a 37, I think 32 or 33. Timer a little late there, waiting for Leodox to finish up too. I was still a little thrown off by Jro's tease to save the animals, so I'm gonna blame that on him.
According to the stream, it's like 37:30.3-ish, I think.
Okay. Leodox's time coming up. What is Leodox doing? Come on, Leodox. No, this isn't how it works. Oh no.
So, probably would have been 38:03 had he actually pressed down in the middle of the ship.
Leodox being the dirty animal saver. Being the dirty animal saver that Leodox is. I don't even want to hit this check mark anymore.
Well, I'm glad it's your job and not mine, because I don't think I would.
Oh my gosh. Alright, well, I'll hit it anyway because I'm feeling generous. Jro ending the run with a 37-33. Leodox ending the run with a DQ time because he saved the animals.
Apparently, according to Jro, that was a PB for him.
Oh, wow. And it looked like a good run, but I didn't realize it was PB pace.
Yeah, it was a relatively close race between both, even given the choices they made, such as Leo taking 2 tanks and Jro taking charge.
So good game to the runners. That is a GT Classic. Coming up, what we got coming up next?
Well, the lava dive and Green Gate action is not done quite yet.
Ah, yes. Almost forgot that I've got to do this run here. Coming up next is Reverse Boss Order. Coming up, what we got coming up next?
Well, the lava dive and Green Gate action is not done quite yet.
Ah, yes. Almost forgot that I've got to do this run here. Coming up next is Reverse Boss Order. Stay tuned for that. Should be good. Also just noticed that the timer is still running because we have one extra in here. I'm not gonna sure what happens when I do that. We may end up with an extra flag somewhere. Nope, it's done. Alright. But we'll be switching over to get set up for that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, guys.